Hi Capricorn, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your February 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. As far as personal readings go, if you're interested in booking one of those with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what we have in front of us, it's Celtic Cross spread as always, and I also pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys. But we're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice that we have in front of us, and that'll help give us an idea of where your areas of focus will be as far as that goes. So we'll get started with that. All right. Okay, let's see. We got Mercury, and interestingly enough, it came up upside down, which to me points to the fact that, of course, we are going to have that Mercury retrograde. And that's going to be in your second house of finances, possessions. We also have 3, so that's your third house communication. So again, another thing pointing to communication for you guys. But although I will say for you guys, your third house is Pisces. So that could be an area of focus there. As we get toward the end of the month, we'll move into Pisces season. So it could be some significance there. And lastly, we have Aquarius. So that's where the Mercury retrograde is going to be happening. And there's tons of energy going on there. We already have Saturn and Jupiter there. They moved out of your sign recently. Now they're in Aquarius. Venus will be there for most of February. There's going to be the new moon, of course. There's plenty of energy going on in Aquarius, so makes sense. And again, that points to second house things for you guys as far as finances and self-worth, you name it. But we'll keep those in mind as we go through the main spread. So, all right. In the main situation position, we have the 2 of Wands. So this is actual Aries energy here, which for you guys is your 4th house. So for some of you, this could be saying that you might be considering moving. That's one possibility. Others of you might not be as drastic as moving your home. It could just be saying that you might want to travel somewhere. Who doesn't at this point, right? Given all the restrictions that we had last year. But overall, this looks like you guys might be ready for a fresh start in some area, regardless of which one exactly, and you're just ready to actually take action on that. All right. In the Challenger obstacle position, we have the 9 of Pentacles, in reverse. So this is Virgo energy here. And, well, given that this came up in the reverse position, I could say for some of you, this might actually be you guys are considering putting yourselves back out there as far as on the dating scene. And that would be why this came up in the Challenger obstacle position, where, when this is in the upright, you think of that single independent energy. So for it to come up in reverse could just be saying that your reasoning behind that might be because, all right, you've done the single thing for a while, right? And maybe it was great while it lasted, but now you might be ready to settle down in some way. So that's another way I could see that energy playing out. But for others of you, if this is actually around moving, you might find that there's a little bit of a restriction around the finances for that, or maybe even just the area you want to move to with all the travel restrictions we have, depending on where you are in the world. That might be causing a delay for you guys too. All right. In the foundation position, we have the 10 of Swords. So this is Gemini energy here. And for some of you, this could just be saying that you might have gone through an ending recently in your work life, or maybe just switched up your daily routine, your health. You might have made some changes there. Of course, people tend to do that with the new year. So maybe in January, you started some new type of health routine. Possibly because you might have even had a health scare that might have pushed you in that direction a little bit. But that's one way I could see that playing out. And for others of you, this could just be pointing to coming out of that energy of just thinking about the situation repeatedly, right? Whatever it is, like I said, moving or putting yourselves out there as far as dating goes, whatever, specific scenario you want to look at there. Coming out of the thinking stage of that, so that coming to an end, and then that's where we see the 2 of Wands come into play. Like, all right, you thought it through, thought of all the pros, the cons, right? Decided on what path you wanted to take, and now you're ready to move forward. In the past position, we have the King of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy, but I could obviously point to you too, since you're also Earth, and the 2 of Cups, which is Cancer energy, your opposite sign. So this could just be saying that for some of you, this could be pointing to you might have entered into a connection in the past that you might have just saw, all right, maybe it was more of a casual dating thing, but actually, you might have actually had a meeting of the minds to where you might have at least considered the possibility of taking it more long term. Um, for others of you, this could just be saying that you might have been considering entering partnerships with people as far as your finances go as well. You might have just had a meeting with someone around a project or some kind of vision you might have had as far as work goes, and you felt like that person was on the same page as you. So you might have thought that that would have been a good idea to invest. Let me see if anything else comes to mind with this. And you know what this could also be saying too, as far as your reasoning behind why you're ready to actually go back out there, if this is around putting yourselves back out there in the dating scene, could just be saying that now that you're feeling financially secure enough, that's what really led to that spark where you're like, okay, cool, I got my career where I want it to be. Now I could actually put more focus on other areas of my life. In this particular instance, could be around relationships. All right. In the present position, we have the Six of Wands, which is Leo energy, the Queen of Wands, which is Aries energy, and the Four of Swords, which is Libra energy. So, interesting energies here. The Six of Wands usually represents getting some kind of recognition. It's a minor victory card. So, let's say if this was around some kind of creative project, right, you might have put it out there and actually received a lot of accolades around that. With the Queen of Wands energy, though, well, for some of you, this could be saying that you might have found a place that you really like as far as moving goes. You might have done your searching, right? Maybe even applied for a loan because we did see the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe there's some kind of blockage with getting a loan to get that started. And you might have actually gotten some news there. Now you're actually thinking it over, like, okay, do I want to really move in this direction or not? Now that you have everything settled as far as that goes and those questions out of the way, now it's just a matter of, okay, do I really want to make this leap? And for some of you, this could represent, you putting your resume out there as well. That's another way I could see it playing out. And you might be torn between, okay, well, do I stay where I am now, which is a bit more comfortable, or do I actually consider moving somewhere? If I feel like if you're moving, it's not just, a couple towns over. If you're moving, it feels like it's a pretty significant move. Could be across the country to another country altogether. And now you're just trying to decide, all right, well, what do I want to go with, So that's why I see there. I feel like if moving is the scenario that you're looking at, the far distance move might actually bring more financial security to you, but then it's a matter of, financial security versus familiarity at that point. In the near future position, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So this is Virgo energy here. And for some of you, this could just be saying that, if you are waiting for an offer, for example, you might hear word of it, but the actual money might not come through until a little bit later. The fact that this is Virgo energy too could just be saying that for some of you might need to wait until toward the end of February when we do have that full moon in Virgo in order for you to actually secure this, whatever it is, whether it's a job offer, some kind of a loan, like I said, to, purchase a home or whatever the case may be. Looks like you might at the very least, receive communication around that. That's what I'm seeing with these energies in the present position, which is like you get the news around it, but it might be one of those things where, okay, we might have to wait in order to receive it. So they might say, yeah, we'll totally, we accepted your application. We'll be able to get that to you March 15th or something. So it's like, all right, well, the dates and everything, but it's not going to happen tomorrow. All right, the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Knight of Cups, which is Pisces energy, your third house communication, which we did see that's an area of focus this month. And the Mercury energy points that too. We have the Sun, Four of Pentacles, which is actually energy for your sign. Six of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. And Nine of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy. All right, so you know what? I feel like now this is showing a bit of uncertainty on whether you want to make this move or not. Like I said, whether it's putting yourself back out there in the dating scene or moving, right? Possibly changing jobs. The reason I say that is because the Knight of Cups usually represents that forward movement and feeling passionate about something, really emotionally tuned in as far as this being the Pisces energy. The Sun looks like a lot of confidence as well, taking a light, playful approach towards something, which you could also kind of see with the Knight of Cups energy as well. But then we see that Four of Pentacles energy where it's like kind of shutting off a little bit, like pulling back. Like, all right, you know what? I really need to rethink this. And if that's the case, it could just be as simple as the fact that we have that Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, which, for you guys, that is your second house. So if this is around some kind of a big money move you guys might be making, like I said, whether it's changing jobs or moving or something like that, you might get to that really close to actually making the move, but then you might start to really think about it like, okay, this is a big move, right? A big adjustment, big change. Let me think this through, see if I actually want to do it, right? Maybe even taking some time. You might even just decide, all right, well, let me just take a long weekend to think about it or something like that. Or you might say, you know what, before I move to the place, let me travel there for a week and see if I really like it, things along those lines. But with this, it could just be saying that since this is Sagittarius energy here, I feel like if that's the thought cycle you're going through, it could just be saying that you're getting caught up in your head a little bit, because this represents 12th house energy for you. So it could be one of those things where the more time you have to think about it, the more scenarios you start throwing in the mix, and then it's more information for you to process. So looks like there could be a little bit of uncertainty around that. Now, if this is around romance as well, kind of getting a similar energy there too, where you might really come forward, really go all out, right? Fully express yourselves, and then you might kind of regret it after. And I'm not even necessarily feeling like it's because of anything the other person does, but it might be you might step a little bit out of your own comfort zone to where like, whoa, okay, did I just overshare there? You know what I mean? Did I go a little bit too far? And then you might actually withdraw a little bit, you know what I mean? And think about like, all right, what just happened there, So you might have someone in your environment that actually opens you up more than you're actually hoping to open up at that time. So that's what I see there. That could be good or bad, right? But I just feel like at least your initial reaction might be you freak out a little bit. All right, in the environment position, we have Temperance in reverse. So this is Sagittarius energy. Queen of Cups in reverse. Cancer energy, your opposite sign. Seven of Swords in reverse, which is Aquarius energy, and Justice, which is Libra energy. So, looking at this, here's one way I could see it playing out, because interestingly enough, Temperance is one of those energies that do represent balance to an extent. If we look at it in the upright, let me just put them all in the upright while we talk about them. So to see that showing up in reverse, but then it ends with Justice, which is another card that definitely points to balance. It's interesting to see the cards in between. So the way I could see this playing out could just be saying that, someone you're dealing with might lose their cool too. Maybe they've been trying to withhold their feelings for you, and then they might actually end up opening up around them too, and maybe their plan, given that, Seven of Swords in reverse is definitely a good way to see the card as opposed to the upright. So with Seven of Swords coming up in reverse, it might have been one of those things where they've been holding back their feelings, and then that might kind of freak them out too, but then in the end it actually ends up restored to balance, because it's like, all right, maybe you ended up oversharing initially and you were freaking out about it, and then they might end up kind of in the same boat in that regard. So, it might be one of those things where individually you're both like, oh boy, what I just do, but it looks like it's actually for the good overall. And for some of you, if this isn't another person's energy, but it's also your energy too, could be pretty much what I was picking up on in your situation, which is saying that it could just be the energies at play that might cause you to feel that way, but ultimately it's to restore balance anyway. So looks like no harm, no foul, regardless if it's just you or both people. So that's what I see there. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So I'm going to assume this is a hope, and this is kind of what I was feeling there when I saw the Two of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, which is saying that, maybe you had just been into more casual things lately, but now you might actually be ready to settle down. And maybe that's even what it is. Maybe it's this interaction with this person, whoever it is, that kind of shifts your perspective, where maybe you were going into it with a more light and casual vibe and you weren't expecting to have the intense level of feelings that you have for this person. So that's one way I could see the energy playing out too. But yeah. In the outcome position, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So again, I'm seeing this more as the hesitancy, where whatever this is, like I said, moving or putting yourselves out there, expressing feelings, it looks like, you might do it, right, with that Knight of Pentacles energy, but then withdraw right afterwards, like, okay, what I just do. And again, if that's the case, I feel like nothing to really freak out over. It's just most likely because of the retrograde energy that we'll be dealing with. And, as we get, especially toward the end of February, and that could even be pointing what that Knight of Pentacles is pointing to, what I was saying with the Virgo full moon energy. Get closer to the end of February and early March, you'll probably start to feel that uncertainty lift. So I don't necessarily feel like this is like a true offer being withdrawn. It's more of like, okay, you go forward and then you're like, oh, was that the right thing to do? A little bit of second guessing. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the High Priestess. So this could just be an indicator for you guys. I mean, I was kind of picking up on the feeling that you might be trapped in heads a little bit, but also I feel like this is just saying that if you do start to feel like a little bit of anxiety around a move, just really try to give yourself some quiet time, really tune in and intuitively figure out what you're feeling before making a move. And, worst case, if it ends up being that you're not ready to make a move in February, like put it off till March, at least astrologically speaking, the energies will be a little bit better for that anyway. So that's that. All right, moving on to your oracle card, we have Breathed. There's the artwork, and the number is 29. And, I could tell before I even read the messages, I could see how that plays in, where, like I was saying, it looks like there's a little bit of anxiety. It's like there's that confidence, and then as you get closer to the edge, you start to hesitate a little bit. So hopefully these messages will be helpful if that's your scenario. But it says patience, waiting, going slowly, wellness, meditation, trust. The Oracle's message. Patience in all things is called for right now. What do you need to do when you're in a rush? Slow down, of course. Meditate and trust. Breathe and repeat. Humans cannot exist without drawing breath. Now is the time to allow the life-giving element of air to replenish your body, your being, and your very essence. Stop to smell the roses, breathe in the sunlight, and release the darkness, and miracles will appear. So interesting there, because I was picking up on more of a vibe where you get that confidence and right when you're about to go through it, you might pull back a bit. But this almost makes it sound like you're in a rush. So it could just be saying, that some of you might just be pointing to an energy where you might overwhelm yourselves because you try to get too much done too fast. So that's the case. Hopefully that resonated with you. The relationship message says, don't be in too much of a hurry right now. The heart needs time to open. Take a breath and let nature take its course. Release constriction and anxiety, for there is no need for tension. Savor the moment, and the waiting won't prove difficult. Your heart knows what the ego often resists learning. Patience pays off in deep and meaningful ways. So interesting there, because again, with the Knight of Cups and the Sun in particular, I'm really getting a feeling that you guys are going to be the ones that actually do initially open up really quickly. But then I see that immediate energy of like shutting off and withdrawing. So when it says the heart needs time to open, that could be pointing more to the other person, which is to say, if you, do express yourselves and you don't feel like you get that immediate feedback in a positive way, that could be what this energy was pointing out for this person, which is to say, it might throw them for a loop too, and then they might have been trying to hold their feelings back. And with that Seven of Swords, it could just be one of those things where, okay, they had a plan too to not express their feelings, but once you come forward with that, it might take them a little while to actually come forward and open up to you. So hopefully that made sense, but that's what I'm picking up on there. The prosperity message says you have worked long and hard, your dreams are coming to fruition, and you want to hurry things along. You are the slow one moving languidly, yet still progressing right now in a rhythm dictated by your authentic nature, the essence of your dream, and the will of the universe. Slow and steady wins the race. You will indeed win if you relax, stay the course, trust your intuition, and breathe. So we'll never think about timing there, and like I said, especially if it is around finances, I mean, the Mercury retrograde is going to be in your second house of finances, so if there are some delays there, I don't necessarily think it's like a deal breaker, just might be one of those things where, especially given that Ace of Pentacles I see in reverse, where, like I was saying, that scenario where you might get news around something, but it might actually play out until the very end of February or maybe even early March. All right. So lastly, we have a Mudra card. So the Mudra for you guys is this one here, and it's the Prithivi Mudra. The keyword for it is assimilation. All right, and there's a lot of info on the card there, but if you guys want to pause it or take a screenshot, you can. Under benefits, it says strengthens digestion and assimilation, helps rebuild a thin and frail constitution, creates a sense of centeredness and grounding, benefits the skin, improves the disposition, helps one adjust to any kind of change or disruption to the normal schedule or routine. Spiritually, it establishes a sense of effortless joy. So, that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys. I will put the name of the Mudra in the description of the video as always. If you wanted to look into that a little bit more, we'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.